All right.
Gene, I got to tell you. Well, I'm back in the office. So here's the thing.
All right.
With all that's going on, I got two quick points to make.
Okay.
Phil is here, William's here, Tracy's here. All right, praise the Lord. All right. Jackie Hyland was just within the last hour on the phone with President Trump. And apparently Pakistan, they're doing this negotiating with Pakistan as the middleman.
Right.
Okay, it just came out that Pakistan is saying that apparently they're making great strides, and Pakistan is asking President Trump for 2 more weeks.
Is there a response from the president yet on that?
No, Jackie Hyland was on the phone with President Trump trying to get, some kind of a feel. And he's like, Jackie, when the time is right, I'll update everybody. But right now we're in hot negotiations. They're hot.
Yeah.
That's the word.
We want the best for everyone, obviously, but we're going to talk a little bit about it today. But this whole thing that people are trying to get out there, that this war is not necessary. Guys, we would love just everyone just mind their own business. They mind their own business. They leave us alone and all this stuff. It's not the way the real world works. It just doesn't.
President Trump brought out a great point. That's right. President Trump brought out a great point. He said if they had read his book that he put out back in the 90s, right? He was letting President Clinton know, hey, you better get a hold of this guy, Osama bin Laden. He's a problem. You better grab him. And the United States military had numerous opportunities to grab him. Never did. And then he engineers the whole trade. Now, however the Trade Center thing went down, that's a whole separate story. But somewhere in there, bin Laden is involved. Bin Laden is involved. We don't know where, but he's involved.
A lot of things that we're going to talk about today is even the perception, and I don't mean the public perception, because I probably live more in the real world than I have ever before. And when I say that, I'm not in fantasy land only on weddings on the weekend where everyone's just great and wonderful and everyone's perfect every single weekend. I'm not in that world, but also at the same time, I'm not on tour with anybody. I'm not following the president around as a photographer. I'm living in a real place with real people, and they still support Donald Trump. So all this stuff that people are talking about, it's not the same world. Even the press secretary said, the real world is not X. It really isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they had Martha McCallum. She had on my point about the bin Laden thing was, if they had listened to Trump back in the 90s, there's an opportunity that the whole 9/11 situation might not have happened. That's why the president is going after Iran before they have a chance to get a nuclear weapon, before they fire a rocket into London. You see what I'm saying? So he's trying to stay ahead of that. And she had on, Martha McCallum had on Ro Khanna talking about, nothing was going on. The strait was open, this and that. And she pushed. I mean, I've never seen a reporter actually, or a commentator, push back so hard on that line. I mean, she was great. She was like, well, what are you doing about it? What do you say? I called them out you called them out. Well, what did that do? It was a great interview. I'm sure they have it on video somewhere if you have a chance to grab it. These people are in fantasy land with Iran. They don't understand it.
Right. No. And here's the thing. I think the vast majority of Americans do that understand what the gravity. Listen, obviously, we would love to have it that everyone's just minding their own business and so forth. But that's not the reality of it.
Right.
Okay, Dave. Right. One of the things that is prime on our minds here, and we've been saying this about this whole thing, that you need to get out and vote. We're going to talk a little bit about this, but there were actually some poll numbers that were very interesting, and what changes elections. Anyway, here's a video that Dave Blaze himself picked out for us. Here we go.
public are lower than the Dead Sea. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look. The net approval rating for Democrats in Congress, you said it, Kate Baldwin, the lowest ever. Look at this. Overall, they are 55 points underwater. Their approval rating is south of 20%. It's even worse when you look at independents. Look at this, negative 61 points.
How can Donald Trump defy history and be the next president to gain seats? Can he? Let's ask one of the best in the business, pollster communications advisor, Frank Luntz. Frank, nobody has to tell you about history. As we hear where we're at right now, as we get set to welcome in 26, what do both have to do to be successful in the midterms? Let's start with the Republicans.
First, they have to bring out their votes because they didn't participate in the off-year elections that we just had.
Hey, this is totally
in the end,
true.
Republicans will rise
Right
and fall based on whether they perceive Donald Trump is on the ballot.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the end, when he's there, they come out and they vote, and they vote in record numbers. But when he's not on the ballot, they don't participate, and that in itself can cost them the House and even possibly the Senate.
Yeah. So, okay. So let me just make a couple of points. What Luntz is saying is 1,000% true, but there's a reason for that. And the reason is when Trump is on the ballot, the Democrats are throwing conniption fits, right? They're going crazy. It's nonstop on all the channels and everything else about, oh, we got to do this. Oh, look what Trump's doing. Look what Trump's doing. It's nonstop ads. So Republicans become hyper aware of the election because Trump is on the ballot. Now, when he's not on the ballot, the Democrats kind of, and Republicans for some stupid reason, kind of like keep everything quiet. You know, like Gene will respond to that. And then I want to talk about what's going on in Georgia today.
Yeah, no, here's the thing with it. In the forefront, and this is something that everyone watching can see for themselves. You realize if you get the dispatch that lately we've been putting all the elections, every single one, the runoff elections, the primary elections, even the runoff for the Republican Secretary of State, we followed it all to bring it out there. But some of these are major elections, like the one we have going on, that could possibly be flipped in a deep red place in Georgia. Yeah. So it's so much to talk about. Dave, we can get right into the first dispatch.
Well, hold on. Yeah, let's get into that. Let's get into that.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, here we go. Dave Blaze, this was the lead story on the dispatch. Trump-backed candidate aims to pad GOP's fragile House majority battle in showdown for Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat. Now, we have been saying this for a long time. It is actually today. Today is the election, and this is the one we're following.
Now, I want you to understand the New York Times, here's how, and basically, because I bring this out because they represent the left. So the New York Times is framing this as, look, it's going to be no surprise when the Republican wins tonight. That's not a surprise. But how close can the Democrat get? If they can get within 20 points of the Republican, the Democrats are going to declare victory. That is what's going on because President Trump won that district by 68 points in 2024. Now, so if the Democrat narrows it and the Republican wins by 15 points, the Democrats are going to throw a party.
Now, keep in mind, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene's district.
Right.
Keep in mind, there are people there that actually do like her. I mean, we're not pretending like that. It's not. Anyway, this is how she is leading the battle right now. This is a video of a commentator, a leftist commentator, talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here we go.
Right.
He is also there right now, encouraging more people to leave MAGA and join what she's referring to as America First. She says everyone needs to leave Donald Trump, that Donald Trump betrayed you, and that people should stop following Donald Trump and should stop being MAGA. Fox News is now the fake news. brainwashing boomers to support what we voted against. She then writes, the younger generations, millennials, Gen Z, want life affordability, good jobs, and an America-focused government, not one that engages in more foreign wars.
This is the problem with that MAGA nihilist black pill influencer network, right? The one that Alexis Wilkins called out, the one that Mark Levin is calling out. This is what they do. They are setting up, they're teeing up Trump for the left.
That on there, and by the way, I watch both the far right, the far left. I mean, I watch a lot of programming, but here is what they're using, because they're painting the picture, and I hate to say rightfully so, but they're painting the picture that, well, so-and-so is turned on Trump, Tucker's turned on Trump, Candace is turned on Trump, and it makes it seem like everyone else, but we know that there's a underpinning in play with the MAGA nihilistic podcasters on X.
Right.
So much so that the press secretary says it's not the real world. Dave, I just want to mention, though, with this is where the danger is, because if she is talking like this, think about how many people that she's going to affect in that district, basically burn it all down. And
that's why we call them nihilists, because that's what nihilists are. They don't care about anything. They don't want change. They just burn it all down.
Yeah,
they have no plan. Just tear it all down. That's why we call them the nihilists.
Watching a video where, and I'm sure some people know about this, but it was a video online about this house that the people foreclosed on it. You know, they lost their job. It's sad all the way. And they destroyed the house. Like, for the next person, they took like sledgehammers and they destroyed it. That's the same type of mentality, rather than just say, wow, you know what, this sucks or whatever. You know, she's talking these people about losing the midterms. This is a special election. You know, this is an election for that seat. Okay.
Right. So now you got the shape of things. We're going to keep a close watch on what's going on in Georgia. The next one up is New Jersey's 11th, I believe. And you're not going to find any other, I mean, we haven't, another news source that's tracking all of these elections straight up to the general in November, like we're going to do.
Let me see if it is. The New Jersey's today. Is it the 7th today, or is it the 11th? Or do we not?
I think today is the day that it
early voting, maybe?
Early voting starts. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. And we're keeping up with it on the dispatch. We need to circle back, Dave Blaze, on this whole thing with Trump and Iran. Article compared it to Sherman. Okay, here we go. We featured this story, Dave, on the dispatch. Will President Trump go full Sherman in war on Iran? Dave did a lot of research. It's just amazing.
Well, here's the thing. Just so you know, the Iranians right now are putting out word that they're surrounding their power plants, daisy chaining people together, men, women, children, whatever. So if there is an attack, they'll all die. I mean, this is the Hamas. This is the Hamas and the Hezbollah modus operandi. This is where they get it from. And don't forget, let's not forget that when Iran and Iraq, when you had Saddam Hussein in Iraq, and they were constantly at war, they had their children on the front lines throwing mustard gas at each other. I mean, it's just insane. These people are crazy. Let them have a nuclear weapon, because they'll keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Give me a break.
Speaking of this Sherman thing, Dave, it's in the history, and crazy, Dave. I was from South Carolina. Sherman wasn't talked about much. He ransacked the whole thing, but this is what it's talking about. And I'm not advocating this type of warfare or whatever, but this is the history, and this is what the article is talking about. Here we go.
Sherman's March to the Sea was one of the most memorable and controversial events of the American Civil War. It takes its name from Union General William Tecumseh Sherman, who by the summer of 1864 had captured the city of Atlanta, Georgia. After laying waste to the city's war-making capabilities, he is now intent on taking his soldiers through the heart of the Peachtree State to bring the hard hand of war to the Southern people. Sherman had achieved success, but not without controversy. From the questionable actions of some of his men to the abandonment of freed slaves along the banks of Ebenezer Creek, Sherman's march remains hotly debated today.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Sherman's March to the Sea, where basically he just burned down everything in sight, was very much along the same lines as when Truman dropped the atomic bombs on Japan. It was like, look, this thing needs to come to an end. And let's not forget, folks, that President Truman didn't just say, you know what, let's get those Japanese and drop the bombs. That wasn't how it went at all. There was a long time of negotiating and talking and what. Nope, wouldn't give up. Wouldn't give up. Drop one bomb. Still wouldn't give up. We had to give them a way to save face, to get at, to back, like an off ramp, so they could back out of it. It was crazy, and that was Sherman's thinking. Sherman's thinking was, you know what? There's been enough death. This is going to just wreck them. We're going to burn down all of their capabilities, and that's the end of it.
The reason why I say this, Dave, is like the Civil War was founded in South Carolina, and what they did was, this was like a death blow, where they said, listen, we're going to tear up the railroads, we're going to free the slaves, we're going to burn down homes, and we're just going to go from one end in Atlanta all the way to South Carolina and the sea. And it was a path of destruction. But I'm not okaying it. I'm just saying it was one of the ways that the war broke with that. And they were already on the run.
Right. It broke that broke the back of the South. But that brings up another interesting thing. These lunatics from this MAGA influencer network that are always crying for civil war. It's going to take a civil war. It's going to take a civil war. Are they out of their minds? The deaths that came about from the Civil War is mind-numbing for all of those people that watch us and they're into history and so forth. Civil War was a horror. I mean, it was a horror. So to think that people are saying, oh, the only way, we can't vote our way out of this, meaning it's going to require violence. That's what they're suggesting. That's the implication. We can't vote our way out of this. So what's the implication? That you're going to bake them some pies?
No,
what are you implying? So that's not going to happen. But that is, nobody wants a civil war.
Right.
It's
no,
crazy.
no.
It's crazy.
Really quick, going back to what we talked about the other day when it came to the voting of this. Again, just in the runoff for the election, one was a network. One was backed by Flynn. The other one was backed by, quite frankly, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who we all love. And it's aligned with Donald Trump. But during this, it was able to be voted. In fact, even on the other side, the network guys, if all the people that voted for the network guy the first time voted, he would have beat the other guy. So it wasn't faked. It wasn't cheated. The numbers were there. Half the people voted. So there you go. All right.
Right.
Well, we got to lighten the load here for a second.
I know. The bottom line is you got to vote. You got to vote. Don't listen to anybody telling you don't vote because of 2020. Don't vote because the ballots are going to get chewed up by the mailman's dog. Don't vote because of this, that, and the other. Get your ballot, mail it in, absentee, vote early, vote on the day of election, whatever is most convenient, but vote. That's your power in this country.
Right. Okay. Here we go. Let's talk a little bit about. We'll lighten the load a little bit here, Dave.
Yeah.
Starbucks to prompt more tipping on card payments, fueling tip creep backlash. And Dave, we already have a pre-planned article coming up in George Magazine. Correct?
Yeah, we do. Tipflation. John David wrote it. Something about tipflation, and how they're manipulating, the corporations manipulating people to tip more, and it's so crazy. He has it's a great article coming in 43.
All right, this is I love this type of mentality because I always look at it as like, okay, what kind of tipper?
Question for you. I want you to think about this while you show the video, and
All
for
right.
others to think about. Are you a good mood tipper, or are you a guilt tipper?
Me personally, okay.
Personally, I don't tip. Go ahead, say that.
I am a what can I get out of it type of tipper. So if I go into a place and tip really well, to me it means I'm paying it up in advance, because next time I go into that restaurant, they're very snappy to get stuff done, and it's work.
Not at the corporate restaurants. Corporate places. Corporate place.
I get good service at Starbucks.
Well, that's because they say that particular Starbucks gives good service. They don't see you coming in and say, "Oh, here comes Gene Hope. Let me make sure we give him the freshest cup of coffee." Come on.
All for us.
It's so crazy.
74 cents.
It's so crazy. If anything, they're saying, "Oh, here comes this guy. He's going to tip 3 cents. Watch." That's what they're probably saying.
Oh my goodness! I told you all my tips.
He's going to try and get rid of the Canadian quarter again. Watch him.
And here's a Susan B. All right, here we go.
Probably because they feel forced to, or because there's already a pre-assigned fee. It turns out there are 3 types of tippers: the feel-good, the no-tip, and the guilty tip. I'm a feel-good tip person. I don't know, Gerard, are you a?
I think it depends. It depends, but I'm a guilt tipper most of the time.
All right, so we're on a guilt trip with the guilt tip. News Nation's Kelsey Kernstein. What kind of tipper are you?
You know, I'm a what kind of mood I'm in kind of tipper. I'm just kidding. But you guys, 5-10 years ago, we never would have thought that a place like Starbucks, several other chains, that would prompt you to a tip screen before you get your food. Now it's becoming the new norm.
When you go to a nice restaurant, okay, you have your pockets ready, right? You have a certain amount that you're going to tip the maitre d', right, or the hostess.
The places I don't go to don't have maitre d's. They have a girl named Sally saying,
"Okay, all right, it's okay." Right. So she's the hostess. Give her a little tip, because she's the one that's going to get you to the best table. Right. Then, of course, when you sit down, you ask the waiter their name, or the waitress her name, so that, it becomes a more personal thing. "Hi, I'm Dave. What is your name?" "Oh, I'm Sally." "Oh, very nice to meet you, Sally. What do you recommend?" That kind of thing. So now it's a personal thing. I'm telling you, I have seen this in action 20 times. I'll be at a restaurant and I'll say, "Oh, Sally, can I get 2 more whatever?" Right? And there's some other guy flapping his arm around going, "Whoa, waitress, waitress, waitress." No response. I got our 2 drinks before she even responded to the other guy, because it was personal now.
Now, okay, Dave, what if I go to a restaurant and they give me a little triangle that says 27, and I put it on my table 27, and then they deliver the food to me because I'm table 27?
Right. So when the person comes over and says, "Oh, thank you very much. By the way, I'm Dave and your name is," that's all.
All right.
That's all. So the people know you. When you're if you're waiting at the bar, you tip the bartender. That's how it goes.
Let's do that. This is psychological Babel testing.
Plus, knowing you wouldn't go to like one place first for a drink and then the second place for the meal, right?
No, I'm same place. Yeah.
Well, see, this is why I need to socialize you more.
Okay, Dave, really quick. You're at Starbucks, whatever. You order. right? 15%, 20%, and she turns it around. What do?
I'm going to give her the highest tip on the thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I just bring cash. They just pay cash, and they don't have that. I don't have that peer pressure.
What are you, an immigrant?
I pay cash. Okay. Oh my goodness. Someone help me. Do we have anyone here?
Oh, you're trying to be gangster at Starbucks. What are you, whipping out the roll of cash to pay for your $3 coffee?
Here's my roll with the 100 on top, and then
I can't talk to you.
All right, Dave, we gotta talk about this though.
All right.
We still, guys, stick around for story 5. It's going to be
Darren. The Gene with the Canadian quarter is true. He's got some kind of I don't know. He's got crazy money. He tries to pass it all over the town.
Well, you have the tip jar and you throw the.
It doesn't work in gumball machines. He's tried it 50 times. I mean, it's terrible.
It works at the Starbucks. You can throw it in there. It's like, oh my goodness, they just gave me a 50-cent piece. Throw it in there. It's called Canadian coins. All right. Dave, guys, just so you know, we are busy signing this. I got a table full of these from just today, my quota of how I have to sign it. One of the things, Dave, I want to bring out here in this, you'll see the picture on the right. Listen, guys, I've seen Donald Trump negotiate before. And he is a man who wrote The Art of the Deal. This is in the book. You guys can read it. I seen this guy at work. When it comes to negotiations, this is the one thing that I trust, well, among several, that I fully trust Donald Trump on. Guys, can you just let him do his work? However he does it, he's very good at it.
Right. So now think about this. And just one quick word about the America's 250th book. Guys, these books, we're getting them in droves. Genes, it's a whole process. It's the first he puts the number, then it's the signature, then it's the embossing, the certificate of authenticity, then it has to be wrapped up and boxed and sent to you so it arrives in pristine condition, and this takes time. We're getting let me put it to you this way: if you haven't gotten yours yet, please place your order because they're almost done.
Yep. So thank you so much, by the way. I received some of your comments, and it's wonderful. Okay, Dave, if we could, this one's actually a serious story here. Let's finish off with this one because there's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah.
I think once you understand it from Donald Trump's position, you understand how dangerous this can be. Trump threatens jail over downed U.S. fighter Jet Li. Lives are, quite frankly, at stake here when this stuff happens. I rather than talk too much about it first, let me just show you what Donald Trump had to say about it. And when you realize that, you're like, oh my goodness, there's lives to be lost here if our military was not so well trained. Here we go.
But we have to find that leaker because that's a sick person. Probably didn't realize the extent of how bad it was. I can't imagine that the person did, but we're going to find out. It's national security, and the person that did the story will go to jail if he doesn't say, and that doesn't last long, and I think everybody would understand it. They put this mission at great risk. They put that man at great risk, and they put the hundreds of people that went in looking for him, because everyone now knows that we're going in.
Not only that, but once the Iranians were fully alerted, right, on X and television and so on, that there was a second pilot, they started putting out notices of a great reward for information leading to the capture of this pilot. So you had everybody all over the nation looking for this person. That's how insane this was. And that's why whoever leaked that out is in big trouble.
Right. And they're going to take it, the reporter, and then basically he's going to have to reveal the source here. The reason why this, okay, I don't know exactly who, but in the Air Force, Their version of the Navy SEALs is amongst them are these parachuters that come down. My daughter Ella's ex-boyfriend is one of those. I don't know if he was there, but they jump out of airplanes and then they look for these people and then they serve as medics, take care of them. So when these things are leaked, there's a guy out there, he's still out there. It's dangerous. It puts people at risk. Yep. And I have to say the other thing, going back to what I said the other day, we talked about it. For that numbskull out there that's saying, oh, my sources say that Maduro, that never happened. You realize that these are brave American soldiers that trained for months doing the same things over and over, and they should be applauded and not saying, oh, you're just watching a movie, that didn't happen. These things are real. All right.
Right.
Okay.
Just a couple of quick points on the ongoing negotiations, so you guys get a better feel for it. Okay, so Pakistan puts out message to the White House that everything's going well, and I'm sure they laid out what's been agreed to and so forth, and then asking President Trump to put everything on hold for 2 weeks. So as the negotiations continue, they want a complete ceasefire and so on for those 2 weeks, like for nothing to happen for 2 weeks. So the very first thing that Trump will ask for or say, well, then we have to make sure this happens. Then the other side knows that's the most important thing, and they will fight tooth and nail to make sure he doesn't get that, right? They'll want to agree to everything else. So in my experience, way back when, watching Donald J. Trump, he will save the most important thing for last. And he'll talk about all sorts of stuff that they'll agree to. Oh, we can't have the, all right, again, all right, as long as this is going on and everything. And right before he hangs up the phone, he'll go, now, of course, the Strait of Hormuz will be open.
Right.
And they'll go, well, we never agreed to well, if you're not going to agree to that, then forget it.
You have to remember that this man, Donald Trump, not only wrote Art of the Deal, but this at least one of the things that you can know, listen, this man is in his element. And I personally watched him behind the scenes in these things. And so these are all the things that are put in play here. And so really quick, before we go here, if I could ask everyone, because at least the ones watching here now, some of you guys are our biggest supporters. If you can, please, even on Facebook or wherever, share the link to it so that people could learn more about it. Usually after we film, we get a lot more people watching. Our film version gets a lot of views, but this daily, we're trying to pump it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like you were saying too, Gene. And the thing is that by the end of the call, after they're exhausted, because he's going to hit them with every little nitpicky thing, and they'll be all right. Yeah. Just to okay. And then, well, now you're going to do this, right? And by the time it comes to that, they're so tired. And then when he says, well, if you're not going to do that, just let's forget everything else.
Well, this is the man.
Let's see how it goes
in his element. All right, Dave Blaze, what a great show. I want to thank everyone once again. Don't forget, go to the Dispatch. It's free. Just go to georgemagazine.com. Dave Blaze and I have a lot of good news to share coming up in the near future. Many things that were going on here that we will share. We're actually talking to some of the people that were involved for a long time to get these things underway. But we're very thankful for everyone here.
Big stuff.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Stuff. That's why Larry's probably not on the chat, because he's we have him underground right now.
All right. Thank you, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for checking us out. Don't forget to go to georgemagazine.com and sign up for the Dispatch. It's free. Get the emails and the news stories. And check us out Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can check us out on Facebook and YouTube. We'll see you then.